Okay, thank you for joining Sunday service today. We are showing Master Ryu-Hoka's early lectures. Today's one is titled "The Way to Human Perfection." The Way to Human Perfection, which is given in 1989. 1989. Oh, okay. Thank you for joining, Gary. Hello, Gary. Okay. This lecture is in the 60 minutes in total, and I put into 3 pieces, and with comments. So, firstly, we will watch the first part of today's lecture for around 20 minutes, 12 minutes or so, 12 minutes or so. Okay, let's go into today's lecture.
Hello. So many of you here in Hokkaido.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Hello. So many of you here in Hokkaido have probably come for the first time. I'm very happy. I'm glad I could come to this northern land at such an early stage. Actually, this is my first time coming to Hokkaido. I'm giving a lecture on my very first visit here. So this trip and work will be very memorable for me. This northern land was one of the places I had yearned to visit in my youth. That's because this is where Kanzo Uchimura and other prominent figures had studied. This fact remained in my mind for over a decade. Even for people who share the same mission, it's difficult to meet face to face at the same place in the same age. Decades, centuries, or millennia ago, people with similar aspirations as ours had lived here, went into deep thought, and lived as humans. Just thinking about this gives us a lot of courage and hope. In the same way, if my lecture today could give hope to future generations, I would be most happy. For today's lecture, I've chosen the title, The Way to Human Perfection. This is a grand topic. It's too vast a topic to cover in just one lecture. So my lecture today will be just an invitation to walk the way to human perfection. I've already published nearly 80 books so far. Many of you may have read them from different angles. You may still find it difficult to grasp happy science as a whole, what it is doing or teaching. If I dare to explain it in simple words, I'm giving teachings to create outstanding people in this modern society. and change the world by creating many such people. This may sound simple, but nearly 2,600 years ago in India, Buddha gave teachings to produce enlightened ones or awakened ones. Similarly, in China, Confucius taught the way to be a sage 2,500 years ago. I wouldn't use the word sage in this modern age, but what I teach is exactly that. The way to be a sage means the way to human perfection. As long as you are undergoing soul training as a human being, you must keep walking the way to human perfection. The way to human perfection is an eternal hope and an eternal ideal. I believe so. Viewed from this starting point, if studying at Happy Science doesn't make you a wonderful person, and doesn't help you to improve, or if it doesn't change you into an ideal person in the eyes of others, then there is absolutely no point for Happy Science to exist. First of all, positive changes must occur in each individual. The sort of miracle we are pursuing is not something special, but something quite ordinary. When those who steadily learn and practice Happy Science teachings have taken one step forward, 2 steps, then 3 steps forward in their lives, we call it a miracle. I want you to recognize that we have such a very sound attitude on the basis. It's of course possible to make great miracles happen if we pursue them. It's possible. But I don't like such miracles. Why? That's because I always think about teaching the truth to many people, including those who will come in 2,000 or 3,000 years' time. The age of miracles is surely wonderful, but after it passes, such an age will be regarded as a myth. People will start to think extraordinary things may have happened in old times and end up believing they were just made up or fictional stories. They tend to believe such miracles are completely irrelevant to their lives. However, I wasn't born just to deliver messages to my contemporaries. I want to give the same and equal chance to walk the way to human perfection to those who will come in 1,000 or 2,000 years' time. That is my hope. This is the reason why I have adopted a very steady, ordinary approach. Despite being capable of putting forth far more mystical contents and actions, So I put great emphasis on studying the truth in this present age when I can speak directly to you. Normally, this kind of movement should arise after I leave this world. But I've already started it while I can still talk to you directly. I do this because I want to prevent the way from being distorted, and also because I want my ideas to firmly take root from an early stage. In any age, it is up to the individual to seek the way. However, there is always a group of people who were born with a mission. When many people come to seek the way earnestly, there is no exception to this. People don't seek the way separately in different eras. There is always a group of people born to create the spirit of their age in each era. To everyone here who has gathered in Hokkaido today, there is something I especially want you to know. I want you to know how difficult it is to be born in Japan in this age. You've had many chances to be born in Japan in the past few hundred years. You'll have a chance to do so in the future as well. But you chose this present age. You chose this age and this land. That's because many people are born into this age to create a new spirit of the age. Because you knew this fact, you couldn't miss this opportunity to be born into this age and onto this land. Go deep into your soul and ask yourself, do you think you were born now, here, just by chance? It cannot be so. Most probably, you were born because of your very strong desire to do so. Being born in this present age was a very difficult thing to do. You may think it is easy to be born in a certain place at a certain time. But it is extremely difficult just to be born at a time when humans are about to reach such an extraordinary height in their history. From the start of your life, you carry on your shoulders the great expectations of heaven and hopes for future generations. You must never forget this. Without such an awareness of the times and a sense of mission in this lifetime, your spiritual discipline would be meaningless. If you fail to see this, all of your studies will be in vain. Remember this. The very fact that you are alive in this age is proof of your passion. The very fact that you are alive in this moment is the result of the passion inflamed in your soul for thousands of years.
The end of this first section. Thank you, Lord. Now I'll explain a few points on this first part. Okay. Firstly, the history of the teaching of the way to human perfection. It was taught in many times in the history of humanity. Firstly, it was taught by Shakyamuni Buddha, the way to an arahat. Arahat is the first stage of enlightenment in Buddhism, arahat. He taught that human should become arahat by the spiritual training. And then come Confucius, a few decades later from Buddha. He taught the way to a sage, a kind of a moral perfection, morally perfected person. It's a sage. Then Socrates in Greece, a bit later, a way to a philosopher, intellectually perfection. Okay, so these three great teachers taught about the way to human perfection. Now, Master Okawa came here and way to Bodhisattva, the way to Bodhisattva Tathagata. That is the human perfection in terms. Okay, I remember one thing that this lecture given 1989 was given with guidance, spiritual guidance by Confucius. So because of that, it's liberty free from Buddhist terms. Okay, that's why I think so. Okay. Next, the goal of happy science movement. Master Okawa told us that producing many outstanding people in order to change the world. That means Bodhisattva, Tathagata, producing many such people, we can change the world into a utopia Buddha. That is a goal of happy science. And also he talked about the miracles. Miracles should happen through this teaching. And the miracle, what kind of miracle? He taught us that the miracle is that we seeking is that it changes the humanity, characters. Many people change their character to the better by learning the truth. Also, they may change the course of their life. These are the miracles we are seeking. That's very, very important aspect. Also, this teaching should be remaining more than $3,000 when the next incarnation of Master Okawa will come. His rebirth, his next incarnation will be 3,000 years from now on. So this teaching should be maintained or be active or spread through these 3,000 years in the world. Okay. Okay. Another important teaching he taught us is that we need to aware the importance of this age and the mission of us. Awareness of the age and the mission. What is that? So, because this is the age of crisis for humanity and advent of great teacher, great savior, which means Master Okawa. This is a very, very vital point we should remember every time, every day. Then, there's a group of people with a mission come together with a savior, group of mission, not only in Japan, but also in the world, which have a strong desire to learn and spread his teaching. That is a group of people. And then, our lives in this age themselves are the proof of a continuous passion for more than 10 years, 1,000 years, or maybe more. Because we have a so strong passion for such a long time, that because we come out in this age and seek the Lord and met him and start learning. We all have such kind of passion. That's why we are here in happy science. That's why we learn very ardently, or studying the teaching, practice it, and try to spread the teaching. That is a mission. Okay, so it is very, very important aspect of us. Then we enter the second part of Master Lecture.
Out of several million people living in Hokkaido, only 1,000 and a few hundred are here today. Coming to my first lecture in Hokkaido means you must have had a very strong spiritual connection to the truth. The next time I will come here will be almost a year from now. I'm sure you've had a very strong yearning in your soul to have been able to come to my first lecture against all odds. This strong yearning doesn't come from your mind, which you believe to be yourself. You may believe you have come here out of your own free will, but actually, some beings have guided you here. You may not be able to see them with your eyes or feel them with your physical senses. But the world we live in doesn't only consist of what we can see with our eyes, hear with our ears, or touch with our hands. From the perspective of the real world, this third-dimensional phenomenal world we live in looks like a fishbowl. That is how it looks. Viewed from a higher world, this world is like a fishbowl placed on a table. And you are like goldfish swimming in the water in that bowl. If goldfish jump out of this bowl, they will die. So even if they have restricted freedom, they have no choice but to swim in the fishbowl, which is a limited world. Please know that this is exactly how you are in this world. You may believe you are swimming freely and independently in this world. But there are always beings that encourage you. They encourage you when you have aspiration and determination to take action for something more valuable, for a higher purpose, or for a greater ideal. That being is the guardian spirit, which you may have often heard about. Guardian spirits are not strangers to you. They are actually part of your own soul. It may sound odd to hear that they are part of your soul. It may sound unfamiliar or even unacceptable. But I will reveal to you the truth about our existence, the entity that is born into this third-dimensional world and dwells in this physical body is not the entirety of what we are. Our soul is a much greater entity. It is a greater energy form with greater intelligence. You may have heard about the subconscious mind. We have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. It is said that we usually think, judge, and act based on our conscious minds. This is true. But even as you perceive life with your conscious mind, there must be times when you come up with a surprising idea. It could be about your future career or your new project at work. Sometimes an idea may come to you at a crossroads of your life, when you are agonizing over whether to advance or to retreat, or to go left or right. Some words or ideas may come to you most unexpectedly and out of context. They may come to you from deep within or as if falling from heaven. If not from within you, it may come from someone else, from someone close to you. The person may say the words you needed the most. This explains the fact that You are not actually living on your own, although it may seem that way. Some beings help you live and are beside you. This is the reality. You've probably heard that the subconscious mind has infinite power. In fact, your soul has soul siblings in the world beyond this one. Of these soul siblings, the one most suited to guide and advise you to fulfill your mission in this life takes on the role of your guardian spirit and gives you guidance. It may be your soul sibling that will be born after you, or the one that had a life on earth just before you. In any case, the one most fitting to your present life is protecting you and guiding you. Hundreds of you here have come to my lecture for the first time today. What made you come? Maybe you have read my books. There were others who still didn't come. You may have received a flyer, seen a poster, or been invited by your friend. Regardless of such opportunities, what prompted you to come here? In fact, there was a being who brought you here. When you know this truth, you'll come to realize how great a responsibility you have for your own life. I started receiving spiritual power 8 years ago. But looking back, even before that, there were many occasions when I received guidance. I could only see it after it had passed. On various occasions when I was facing dangers of a downfall, I was guided in many different ways. Sometimes a person's words helped me when I was about to give in to despair. At other times, a sentence in a book caught my eye when I needed direction. There were also many times when I failed to achieve self-realization. But it turned out that such harsh realities were saving me from going down the wrong road. I only realized afterward that I was guided in many ways. I'm deeply aware of it now. I'm afraid those who lack such awareness only have a shallow view of life. I think so. Although people often talk about human perfection, many live superficial lives. If I were to ask each one of them, 80 to 90% of them would probably say they care about how they appear in the eyes of others. They probably picture the ideal image of themselves in the eyes of other people. Am I right? I think that's how most people are. But I would like to point out that as long as you need to confirm your own success in the eyes of others, you are not in a lofty state of mind. Many people will find themselves in such a state even at the end of their lives. Rather, the higher their position or greater their fame in this world, the more likely they are to assess themselves in light of the views and opinions of others. This seems to be the case in the worlds of politics, business, and academics now. However, please know that those who try to assess themselves by external values or criteria are nowhere near human perfection. That's because those people don't know the deep truth about life. As I just said, we are constantly being given a lot, even from the world we can't normally see or perceive. That's how human beings are. Every day, we are guided by many. We are given many opportunities and encounters, and presented with different courses of destinies. Without realizing this, some see this world as a work of clay. They believe they can create their houses, dogs, horses, or humans at their own free will as if playing with clay. But if they believe they can leave this world satisfied by living this way, they are mistaken. In a sense, there is nothing we can truly accomplish on our own. You may be surprised to hear this, because until now I have mainly taught about the importance of self-discipline. Humans on earth cannot achieve or succeed at anything in the truest sense with their power alone. Never forget this. Why so? To know, you don't even need to think about the spiritual world. Just think of your relationships on earth. You'll see that other people are always involved when you try to achieve something. These people may help you proactively or passively. Some of them may oppose you, but each thought and action you have as a human is realized only with others' influence. They cannot be achieved without the presence of others. Their reactions, thoughts, or actions. From this perspective, look back on your journey through life. If you just feel you have done well, you have probably forgotten many things. You may be overlooking many favors. Indeed, you may have worked hard, but there must have been many people who supported you to exert yourself. You must not forget about these people who gave you such opportunities. No matter how competent you may be, you wouldn't be able to accomplish anything if everyone around you tried to block your self-realization. For example, I'm giving a lecture now, but this wouldn't have been possible with my will alone. I can only do so because there are people who listen. There were also people who helped with the preparations. Even what you believe you can do with your own free will always comes with a condition. Never forget this. This condition that comes with freedom, or the condition of freedom, arises from the existence of others. When you look at people who are enjoying their freedom fully and are living as they wish, you may often admire them as your ideal models of human perfection. But that's not right. Those who have truly walked the way to perfecting themselves have understood the conditions of freedom. In fact, freedom is conditioned by what is called responsibility. They have deeply understood this and this conditioned freedom. That's why those who have achieved more have a deeper sense of gratitude. The higher their positions and the greater the influence they have over others, the more they come to feel, this is not my power. This wasn't done with my power alone. As the starting point, I want to emphasize this point very strongly. First, you must accept the fact that you can only live your life thanks to the greater power in the existence of many people. Without accepting this, no matter how hard you express your thoughts or take action, it will not lead you to true improvement. From a microscopic viewpoint, we human beings may seem to live independently, but from a macroscopic perspective, there is actually one gigantic tree of life. From the giant tree of life, an infinite number of roots are growing. From the main root, small roots grow. From small roots, yet finer roots are growing, like capillary veins. The truth is that human souls are branched off in this way. You are one of these hair-like roots that grow at the end of the root. What if one of these hair-like roots wished to monopolize the nutrients? What if it wanted to take up all the water for itself? Before long, a huge tree would wither. Do you think a root, just one root, can survive when the entire tree dies? No, it can't. Only when the many roots absorb water and nutrients will the tree grow even bigger. And you, who are part of it, will become more aware of your mission, be filled with energy, and be happy. When thinking about human perfection, please remember this metaphor. Don't forget that the souls of all humanity, not only humanity but also animals and plants, are part of one gigantic tree of life, viewed from a vast perspective of the universe. In our earthly eyes, all forms of life may seem separate and independent. They seem different, just like each root or leaf is different from one another. But from a grander spiritual perspective, all are part of one huge tree. If human beings were the roots, then plants could be the leaves. Animals could be the fruits, or perhaps the bark of the tree. Each constitutes a different part. Whatever the case, all forms of life that exist in this universe are there to sustain the life of one huge tree of life. We exist to keep this huge tree of life alive. The tree grows by absorbing water and nutrient, while going through transpiration and photosynthesis, or carbon assimilation. In the process, leaves will wither and fall. Sometimes the fruits will be spoiled by insects, or the trunk may become damaged. Birds may nest in the branches, or parts of the root may break and die. Many things happen. These are what we perceive as accidents or misfortunes in this world. Despite such negative incidents, the tree is trying to live as a whole.
Okay, this is the end of the second part. Master Ryogoka, thank you very much. Okay, now I'll explain a few points. So, Master taught us a very important perspective of human life. Very, very important perspective of human life from the spiritual perspective of life. Spiritual perspective of life. First, we must know we are not living alone in this world. We are not living alone in this world. Our life is supported by many existences, including the people around us, also the highly developed spiritual existences. First, you must accept the fact that you can live only you can only live your life thanks to the great power and many people or spiritual things, such as your guardian spirit and 4 other soul siblings. Each person has spiritual siblings. 6 of those souls come together and consist of one spirit. That us, each of us is consist of 5 other soul siblings. Okay. Then also we have many people around us. Those people are kind of helping us, supporting us in many ways. Without them, we cannot live a day. Also, angels and high spirits are also supporting us every day in many ways. And Lord God, the Creator, who is actually the most important for our lives. He gave us a life, and also He is supporting our life. Okay, giving energy, food, and everything is come from Him. Now we'd like to watch a short clip from the Happy Science first movie, the Nostradamus, the prophet. Okay, about the scene of our coming to this earth and sending out by other 6 soul siblings. In this case, sisters.
旅立ちの時が来ました。今回は魂の兄弟の本体であるあなたが地上に出る番です。2600年前のインド以来のことですね。
私があなたの守護霊をやることになりました。
目に見えるものしか信じない人々にどうやって真実を伝えていくのか覚悟はできているわね。
はい。私たちはいつも見守っているわ。愛と勇気を。
So each one of us experienced this kind of scene before we coming to this world. So they are always helping us in many ways. And so because of that, we have a responsibility, not only the freedom, we have a responsibility to live a good life. When we are born, before we are born to this world, we make a pledge, we make a promise to God or angels that we live a good life in accordance to His teachings. We live a good life, and also we accomplish a mission in this life. That is a promise, pledge, before we are allowed to come here. So if you mistaken about this while you are living, that is a kind of very sad. Because of that, after ending the unsuccessful life, we have to go to hell. That is not a punishment. That is for the self-reflection because of that. So we have a responsibility to live a good life, accomplish a mission in this lifetime. Also, Master Ryuho Okawa taught about the big one great tree of life. We means peoples, not only the people, the animals, plants, all the other living things get together to become a one great tree of life, which is called El Cantare. Sorry. And Master taught us all human souls, as well as souls of all the animals and the plants, appear as one vast tree standing singularly. This is the tree of life. And then each one of us humans is one of the hair-like roots at the end of the large root. So we have a mission. We have a mission. Every living being in this grand universe exists to support this singular and vast tree of life. So we humans, as Master taught us, is like a hair-like root at the end of the bigger, larger root. So we have to support. We have a mission to give energy, water, nutrient to this big tree to support them. Okay, this is also important teaching. We are not the kind of beneficiary. We are benefactor. We are supporter of the big tree. Okay. Now we enter the last part of Master's lecture.
If you have understood human existence through this metaphor, what should you do next? Please think about this. You are the root, an extremely important part of this gigantic tree of life. No matter how big a tree may be, it will die without roots. Roots are very important for a tree. They actually support the growth of a tree. They do indeed. Based on this, let me tell you 3 important points you must do. First, you must understand that you won't get any profit from living your true mission. You will gain nothing. It's like the roots absorbing water and nutrients and sending them upward. Although what we have absorbed may appear to remain with us for a while, it just appears to be so. The truth is that it serves a higher purpose. You cannot keep the benefits or wonderful things just for yourself. This is the premise you must know. Benefits may stay temporarily or pass you by. But know that if you try to keep them, the tree of life will die. If you think of the benefits as your own and try to keep them from others, the gigantic tree of life will wither. This is the first premise. Perhaps you have heard of the place called hell. By now, you should be able to imagine what it really is. We are essentially part of the great tree of life and fulfill the function of the roots. But those with mistaken ideas will appear among us. They claim freedom as the roots and try to get water and nutrients just for themselves, having forgotten their original mission and role. They start to think only of themselves and try to keep the water and nutrients they have absorbed only for themselves. What happens as a result? They probably don't know the result. Just look at the trunk of the tree high above. Look at the branches and the leaves. They are withering. Flowers are dying and fruits are rotting. The tree has stopped forming growth rings. Can't you see? Guiding spirits are always teaching this. But the roots underground don't care about that, because they can't see above the ground. Having forgotten the original mission, they try to keep water and nutrients for themselves. Whether you keep them or let them flow, the same amount is always there in front of you. This fact remains the same. But when you have forgotten your mission, a serious death awaits you. The tree of life itself will die. Here lies the reason for hell to form. Because each root only thinks about itself and about the underground. What is above the ground is suffering, weakening, and dying. That's why in every age, those with a greater character called guiding spirits are born on earth and teach the true laws. They give true teachings. They keep teaching the laws until their lives end. Even if they are crucified like Jesus, they never stop teaching. They know that if they didn't teach the truth, the huge tree of life growing in the vast universe could die. Because of this sense of crisis, they teach us our mission. They always teach, don't be selfish, love others. Love your neighbor and do not live only for yourself. You must never forget this fact. This is the first point you must follow. To put it differently, you must awaken to a great mission. But this sense of mission is nothing new. You had it from the very beginning. You've forgotten the mission you originally had. So be aware of how much you must do now. Realize how important it is to awaken to your new mission and awaken to the mission you originally had, which is the same thing. Think about how urgent and crucial it is for people today to realize and act on this. This is the first point. There is a second point. The second point is that just doing your job is not enough. I said the roots have a mission to absorb and send water and nutrients upward. But is that all you have to do? Do you just need to let them flow? There's an old Chaplin film called Modern Times. It depicts a man whose job is simply to tighten the nuts on bolts that are transported on a conveyor belt. The film comically depicts such a man. We often tend to be buried in simple repetitive tasks like this. Each day passes mundanely, and you take it for granted. And you end up setting your limits on your own. You're apt to say to yourself, this is how I am, I'm just a root, so this is the best I can do. But at that time, you must consider if you can do even more work. Even if you are a root, rather than staying small like a capillary vein, why not grow bigger so you can contribute to more people? You could be large enough to support the entire tree. Ask yourself if you truly don't have the potential to be so. When asked this, do you really think you don't? Of course you do. I believe human beings have great potential. People's work skills can differ by tenfold. But in work that affects people's minds, a person can achieve 100 or 1,000 times more, or even 10,000 times or more, after they have awakened to their mission and make an all-out effort. When a person awakens, they'll have 1,000,000 times more power. They truly have such power. I'm sure the local branch of Hokkaido has a few awakened core members. What happened as a result? Many people have gathered here. How do you assess this work? This wasn't possible with the work of a single person. In this work, the power of influence and spreading is so great that a person can achieve far greater work than what they can imagine. In the past few years, I have already given lectures to over 50,000 people. I have reached millions, if I include those who listened to my recordings or read my books. This wouldn't have been possible if I had been living normally. But I awakened to my mission and thought I must fulfill it. My effort wasn't for myself. Having awakened to my mission, I thought I had to keep sending water and nutrients to more people. So I kept making efforts, and now I'm able to tell my messages to millions in just a few years. No, they are not my messages. They are the strong passion that comes from a far distant world. I can convey this passion. Over 1,000 people are here today. This is a very small gathering. I can see a much larger audience in front of me. I'm not here to speak to just 1,000 plus people. I feel I'm speaking to millions of people living in Hokkaido. I believe you who have listened today will surely convey my passion to others. So my audience is not just 1,000 plus people. This is the only time I will speak here this year. And I'm speaking as if I'm talking to millions of people today. This is the true nature of work that affects people's minds. Or in other words, spiritual work. The ability of one person may be limited, but once their work turns into spiritual work and catches fire, it will have a boundless influence. The burning of just one blade of dry grass won't be a big fire. But if one blade catches fire and its flame spreads to other grasses, it'll become tremendous power. Even the flame of a single blade of dry grass can change the fate of an entire country. You may see yourself as a blade of dry grass, but the fire of this single blade of grass will never stop or be extinguished. Its energy will keep on increasing without limit. Never ever forget this. So the second point I want to make today as the way to human perfection is this. Know that there is no limit to the spiritual work you can do. There may be a limit to worldly work, but once you have awakened to your mission, your work will be limitless. In terms of time, it'll exert power for hundreds, thousands, or even more years. In terms of space, it'll go beyond Japan and spread to the world. This is a wonderful fact. You must know this. So as the second point of human perfection, I want to say this. You must unleash your true power. You cannot help but unleash it. And there is a third point I want to make. When your spiritual energy is unleashed, it will spread like wildfire. But even in the midst of this passion, you must remain wise. Passion is a great energy on earth. Rather, it is the only energy to accomplish great work on earth. I could say that passion is the only energy. And wisdom is there to make this passion more wonderful and elevated. When your passion spreads, you'll experience many things along the way. You'll gain many experiences you have never had before. These experiences will give power to your knowledge. Knowledge empowered by experience is called wisdom. You probably have much knowledge already. You may have gained a lot of knowledge by reading books, listening to other people, and studying at schools. And your knowledge probably continues to increase day by day. But knowledge alone has no power. Please remember this. Knowledge is no more than raw material. Of course, this raw material will lose power unless it is constantly being supplied. Even so, it is merely raw material. What gives power to this raw material is passion, and the experience gained through passion. Knowledge becomes wisdom when it is combined with passion. I want you to value this wisdom. This means you must be someone with much greater wisdom this year than last. Next year, you must possess much greater wisdom than this year. Having wisdom means you are able to guide many people in the right direction. You won't have such power with mere knowledge or passion alone. Passion is like a fire that spreads, but it can point in any direction. It can spread in ways you didn't expect. But when wisdom is added, this flame of passion will start to work correctly. It'll do marvelous work. It'll definitely start working constructively and positively and improve this world in a tangible way. So you must accumulate wisdom day by day. Your wisdom is your own treasure. This wisdom never comes to you just by reading books. It won't come just by listening to others. What you can gain is raw material, but it will turn into gold by putting it into the fire. It will become solid gold. Therefore, from this year on, rather from this day on, absorb the knowledge of the truth. On top of that, you must take action called passion. And by combining knowledge and action, or experience, you must keep producing unique, magnificent, jewel-like wisdom. Wisdom, in turn, will also accomplish great work. This is just like the mechanism to turn a large cogwheel. Without wisdom, we can only exert energy in one direction. But look at the large machines. They have various gears to direct the power in all directions, right or left, or up or down. This is how work is truly done. Passion alone won't determine a direction. It may just go straight. But when wisdom is added, it can exert influence in many different fields. Just as gears transmit power in all directions. These are the three basic principles to walk the way to human perfection. First, there is nothing you can keep for yourself only. Know that you exist to serve a greater mission. Second, the spiritual work you can achieve with the power of passion is limitless. I have said so. Third, when the gear called wisdom gives direction to this unlimited power, you can perform even higher levels of work.
話でありました。これが
These are the starting point and the basic attitudes.
しかし
Nevertheless, these are not enough to walk the way to human perfection.
歩んでいるとは言いません。この3つ
There's
の
one more thing I want you to practice
さらに
while constantly observing the 3 points I mentioned.
それが
That is, the exploration of your own mind.
視点なんです。人間には
Human beings have a mind.
いやこの心があるとい
Actually,
う
it's not
表現が
accurate to say humans have a mind.
人間に
There's
は
no mistake in saying that the mind is the only thing humans have.
ないんです。皆さんが死んでも
You can only bring your mind when you die.
これしか持って
That's
帰
the
れない。
only thing you can bring with you.
メガネもワイシャツもネクタイ
You
も
can
絶
never
対
bring
に
your
持って帰れない。
glasses,
持って帰れる
shirt,
のは
or
ここしかないん
tie.
です。
The mind is all you can
人間
take.
の使命としては
So improving your mind is the only mission or spiritual discipline as a human being.
以上の使命感に加えてこの
On top of your sense of mission, always remember this exploration of the mind.
幸福の科学では
At Happy Science, we call it the exploration of right mind.
この正しさ
It may not be very easy to know what is right,
それは別名において
because it's the same as exploring God's will.
人間である
Because humans are exploring God's
神
will,
の心の探求をしているから
righteousness
こそ
isn't uniform or
そう
limited.
でなくその正しさに限界が
No
な
matter
く
how deeply we explore righteousness, we can never see it fully.
しかしてそうした
But that's precisely why humans are on the road to eternal improvement.
故に皆さんが
So today, let me give you some advice in exploring right mind
この正しい心の探求においてどうしても確
to
認して
become a
おかね
great
ばならない
person.
部分を今日言っておきましょう。第一は
First, never have negative
マイ
thoughts.
ナスの考えは持ってはならない。マイナスの考え
Negative thoughts are, for example,
例えば
thoughts that harm others
思いです。また
or thoughts that harm
自分
yourself.
に対する思い出もあります。愚痴とか
They also include complaints, discontent, jealousy, and suspicion, among
考
others.
えつけば
Perhaps you can think of an infinite number of them.
このマイナスの
Control your mind to not have such negative thoughts.
これは正しく心の
This is the first point of right mind.
第二点は
Second, if your negative thoughts have become strong enough
力を得て出てしまった時に口から
to be expressed through your mouth, arms, legs, or actions,
すぐこれを
reflect on them immediately.
直ちに
If mistaken thoughts manifest, reflect on them right away.
そして
Make sure you won't ever repeat the same deed or utter the same
言
words.
動は取らないように心せよ。これが
This is the second checkpoint.
ポイントです。まずマイナス
First,
の思いを出さない
strive not to have negative
出た場合には
thoughts.
すぐ反省すると
But
いう
if you
ことを習
do,
慣づけよう。
make it a habit to reflect on them right away.
第3番目に
The third point I want to make is this.
心の赤を
Removing the dirt from your mind will not end after just one attempt or in a second.
だけでは決して終わらない。どのような立場
Even
に
if you assume a higher
自分がどのように
position
偉くなったとしてもどの
or
ように
feel
悟
you've
ったと
attained
思った
higher
としても
enlightenment,
その段階から曇りが生じると
your
いうこと
mind
を
can be clouded from that moment on.
自らの
So never
心
forget
の
that.
鏡というものは日々
You must keep on cleaning the mirror of your mind every single day.
それです。
Yes, you must constantly clean your mind.
立場によって
Your position, status, title, or the praise of others
あるいは他の人のからの
will
称賛
never allow you to make any excuses.
私自身も
I too have been cleaning the mirror of my mind every day.
曇りが生
As
じた
soon as I notice any clouding, I reflect on it.
皆さんの前でお話しして
Before
いました
making today's lecture last night, I spent over an hour reflecting on myself.
人の上に
The
立てば
higher
立つ
your
ほどこの人
position,
は厳し
the
くなる
stricter your self-reflection will be,
鏡を曇らせ
or
る
there will be
ことを
more things that cloud your mirror.
永遠の修行としてやっていかねばならんのです。
This is an eternal discipline, and there's no end to it as long as we are
終
human.
わることはないということ。そしてこの永遠
In
の
the
作業
process of this eternal discipline, humans are walking the way to perfection.
歩んでいるということ。これを忘れてはなら
Please
ない
never forget this.
以上が今日の講演です。ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lord Alcantara, Master Okawa. This is the end of today's lecture. Okay. Okay, this part was the kind of conclusion of today's master lecture. He told us the 3 principles to walk the path to human perfection, 3 points. Okay, I will explain it again with some comments. Firstly, awaken to the true mission to give love to others, to awaken to the true mission to give love to others. So we are all humans that are given life to because we have a mission to give love to others. When we awaken to this mission, we are started walking the path to the human perfection. That means we are walking toward bodhisattva, angels. So it is a starting point of true life. So this is awakening to our mission, and it is a way it is a life of love to others. Then came develop your innate spiritual energy and passion that influence great many people, like thousands, 10,000 or millions people. Okay, this is a very, very important part. Okay, then accumulate wisdom that gives direction to your infinite passion and energy. Okay, so we should have a mission and live life of love and wisdom. This is the way that the bodhisattva should be working. And most important or most difficult part is how can develop this kind of infinite energy from our soul. It can only become possible when you can elevate your soul level. If you become arahat, you can exert more spiritual power. If you become bodhisattva, you have a great influence that can be influence more than 10,000 people and more. And if you are to become tathagata, you can give influence to the millions of people. So only way you can give that kind of influence is to elevate a spiritual level by self-discipline or spiritual training. Okay, so actually, this is a way to become bodhisattva, or way to become angels. So this kind of a very, very important conclusion of today's lecture. Especially the second one will be the main thing, I think. And then Master taught us about the exploration of the right mind, which is a fundamental teaching of happy science. Usually, it is consists of love, wisdom, self-reflection, and progress. But in some way, Master Okawa today just focusing on the self-reflection. You might be aware of that. He didn't tell about love, wisdom, progress in this part. He only focused on this self-reflection. Why? Okay, I will tell you. Very simple. Because he must have taught about the mission to give love to others. It is love. Then he taught about give influence to many people. That is a progress you should make. And then wisdom, accumulate wisdom through practicing the knowledge into the put the knowledge into practice. You can acquire many wisdom. And then self-reflection. Self-reflection is a vital way to elevate our spiritual awareness to first arahat and then bodhisattva. So in this lecture, the main focus should be about elevate our soul awareness into arahat or bodhisattva. But he couldn't explain much about that. He actually in this lecture, he showed our kind of direction, general direction. And then we should do like this. So in conclusion, in happy science, all members or especially devotees are kind of expected to walk the way to arahat and bodhisattva. we should be aiming to become a bodhisattva. Everybody who become a member of Happy Science should walk that path. It's a kind of a long way. No limit we have. Every day we must walk that path together from today on too. Okay. Thank you for joining today's lecture and my explanation. That is the conclusion of today's one. Now, at the end of today, we would like to recite together prayer to El Cantare together. Prayer to El Cantare. Lord El Cantare, you are our Lord, Buddha and Savior. We believe you are the Master of Masters, the highest God of this planet Earth. We believe you have the supreme power, both in heaven and on earth. You are the great spiritual being, united consciousness of Buddha and God. Lord El Cantare, we believe you will lead all people to true happiness. We believe the fourfold path of love, wisdom, self-reflection, and progress perfects the principles of happiness. And we truly believe these principles will save the entire world. O Lord, please grant us the holy mission to spread the truth all over the world. We will cross the vast ocean to light a beacon of truth in every corner of the world. O Lord, please entrust us with your great vow to save all humankind. We will devote our lives to creating Buddhaland utopia. Lord El Cantare, as long as you are in heaven and the disciples on earth, we will hand down a mission to future generations, achieve your great vow. We, the disciples of El Cantare, will join together to become the ship of your great vow to save the people and bring them the shore of enlightenment. O Lord, we thank you very much for granting us the prayer to El Cantare. Okay, this concludes today's Sunday service. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining all. Ali, you can. Also, other people. Steve and also Gary. Maybe he's already gone. Okay, thank you very much for joining.